everybody. Sorry. I'm all discombobulated. I didn't realize that I had hit the button already. Apparently I did. Hello. Thank you guys for joining me tonight. I am Michelle Solis. I am from This Must Be Ink. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Seekonk, Massachusetts. Let's see if I can get this. Oh, it's just too much light. Here we go. And thanks for joining me. This is my Stamp and Sip workshop that I do every Friday night at 7 p.m. So thank you for joining me. Oh my goodness. Okay, so we are here. Everybody take a sip of whatever you brought. We're going to make a really cool card tonight. It is called a Dutch Door Fun Fold card. And so that's what we're going to try and create tonight. Hi, Julie. I was all discombobulated. I thought I forgot to push the button, but I did. All right, so I caught myself by surprise. Anyway, all right, so take a drink of whatever you brought, and we will turn the camera down and see if we can't get started on this card. I think I have to go like that. There we go. All right, let's get this camera back. All right, so this is what we're going to be doing tonight. This is the one that I showed as a sample, and this is called a Dutch door card because, you know, those doors that open, they have the top panel and the bottom panel, and you can just open the bottom panel if you want to, or or just the top panel. So this is a Dutch door fold, and it's all just from one card base. And this one I created with the Gallery Blooms stamp set. And this is the Boho Vibes paper that I used two different pieces. Actually, I think I used a back and front on this one with the Gallery Blooms flower here. So that's the fold that we're doing. Now, this particular one, I can put the measurements on Facebook for you. You can see that this card base and the matte and the designer series paper these all are gradients of an eighth of an inch. So this has got a lot of eighths in the measurement. The one that we're going to do tonight is going down in gradients of 1/4 inches, which I think is actually easier, and I actually think it looks a little bit better. So you can decide. I'll put the measurements for this one up on Facebook, and the other one you can find. It will be a PDF that will be available to you if you have signed up for my email. Okay? All right, so let's get started. This is the card we're going to make, but tonight we're going to do it with some fall paper. So I've got this paper called Gathering Together. This is from the Gathering Together set of paper. So we're going to use this one with the Cajun Craze and brown leaves. And then this little piece this is from a different piece of paper with the Cajun Craze. These are the backgrounds on the other sides. It's really hard to decide what side of the paper to use with this. The foil just makes this so, so pretty. All right, so that's what we're doing. And we've got an early espresso card base, and we've got some Cajun Craze cardstock as well. All right, so the card base that you're going to need is 8.5 by 5.5, and that's just scored at 4 1/4 like you normally would. Okay, so let's just make sure we've got this lined up properly, and we're going to have to cut it. So to make sure that I have it lined up properly, I always nestle it into the bottom corner of my trimmer, and I push it right into the side and the bottom to make sure when I'm burnishing that fold that I've got it even. Okay, so we want to burnish that really well. And then what we're going to do is we're going to cut the front of this. So you want to make sure you know which one is the front and the back. So it's the front piece that we're going to cut. We're going to open it up. And then this front panel, we're going to put into the trimmer this way. We're going to cut it this way because we want to cut it in half here. So we're going to go to 2 3/4 inches. I am going to bring my cutter blade all the way to the top, and I'm going to close my track here, and then I'm going to turn this so that I can see it really well. So I want to bring my cutting blade down. You can see the line here on the side of your cutting blade. That is showing you where your blade is. So you want to bring that line right to the score line here at 4 1/4. So you're going to line that up, bring it right down to that score line, and then go back. Now you should have a card that looks like this. You should have 2 flaps here. Okay. And what we're going to do now is cut this top flap off. If you don't feel comfortable doing it with the trimmer, you can just do it with your scissors. But again, I'm going to put this into the trimmer. This time I'm going to line up this score line, which is 4 1/4, right in my track. So I want to just make sure that that little bump is right in the middle of my cutting track here. Then I'm going to close that up again, and I'm going to bring it toward myself. I need to be right on top of it. So again, we're going to watch the little line here, and we're going to bring that blade down. We're going to line up that line now with the cut that you made. Just go slow. And when you get there, go back. Now you should have this little piece that comes off. All right, so now you should have a card that looks like this. It's just got this little Dutch door flap, okay? And that's all you have to do. This now becomes the piece that goes this way and creates your little focal piece here. All right, so all we have to do now is decorate it. So your mat for inside, this card base was 8.5 by 5.5, so it's scored at 4 1/4. So your mat is going to be 4 inches by 5 1/4, and then you're going to have a piece of designer series paper that is 3 3/4 by 5. So let's glue these together. And then we'll put them inside the card. So this is such pretty paper. And I wasn't thinking that I was going to buy this because I bought that autumn toile paper, which I really loved. It's not gone yet. And then one of my customers wanted to buy this, but she only wanted half a pack. So I said, no problem. And I just kept the other half of the pack. And now I'm using it, and it's so pretty. I might have to buy more. We'll see. We'll see how many cards I can get out of one pack. All right. So we're going to mount that inside. Make sure it's straight. All right. And then we're going to decorate our little door here. So for that, this little panel now is going to be 2 3/4 inches by 4 1/4. So your little mat will be 4 by 2 1/2, and then your designer series paper will be 3 3/4 by 2 1/4. Okay. Oh, I didn't say hi. Hi, Courtney. Hi, Cynthia. And my husband was watching for a minute because I said, make sure I am going live on Facebook. When I set this up tonight, every single time I go into this app lately, they've been working on it and changing it. And every time I go in, it looks different. So tonight I don't know, it told me I could go landscape or portrait. And I'm like, just let me go live. I don't care if I'm landscape or portrait. I mean, I do probably care, but I don't know. I didn't have time to think about it. Okay, so we're going to just put that mat with your designer series paper right on the front. There, so there you go. You're halfway there with this card. Look how cute. Okay, so now you've got this other panel. This is going to also be 2 3/4 by 4 1/4, and that's going to go here on the middle. But we need to decorate this first. So I'm going to use some basic beige that matches the background of this piece here. I'm going to do some basic beige, but I'm going to stamp on it before I glue it on. So I'm going to put my saying on here. I'm going to do Autumn Wishes, and we're going to stamp that in some early espresso. Okay. And then I can put this together and put this on here. And then we're going to just create a die cut to go on the front and decorate that a little bit more. So we can get these two together. Now, to get this on here, there are a number of different ways. I remember I showed you the trick with the Post-it note. If you can line this up where you want it to go. And then we'll just put a Post-it note right across here to show us that where we want to put our glue. So you want to make sure that your glue is underneath this Post-it note area. And then you can bring that back and line that up. And take your Post-it note away and make sure you've got it straight. Usually I just put my fingers back there, but that's a much more scientific way with the Post-it note. Okay, so there you've got your little flap. So we are going to create tonight. Will this fit on here? Yes, it will. Okay. So tonight I was going to show you this oh my goodness, Amber Autumn stamp set. It's got this really pretty image with the acorns. I love acorns. And then this cute little one with the pumpkins. That's a lot of coloring. We're going to do this one tonight. So we're going to do this with early espresso. Plus, I love the leaf motif with this leaf paper because you have all these leaves here. All right, so we're going to stamp this again in early espresso right on here. And then tonight, instead of using blends, I wanted it to be a little more subtle. I brought my watercolor pencils and my Stampin' Blender pen. So we're going to color a little bit of this one. So we've got these acorns here. One of them, I was going to make this crushed curry. So this area here, where there's a lot of shading, we're going to press really hard with our crushed curry pencil. And then on this side. And then I'm going to bring my blender pen in and, oh, I didn't put any in the middle. Let's put a little bit in the middle. We don't need a lot, I don't think, because we're going to carry that color. So we're going to take our blender pen, we should go down a little, and we're going to pull this dark color into the lighter color. And that's going to give me that shading that I want. So you can see it's still a little bit darker right in here and then lighter toward the other side. And then I'm going to do the top of them. Let's see, what did I bring for that? I think I brought Early espresso. Yep, early espresso. So I'm going to do the same thing with the little top of the acorn. Here where there's more shading, I'm going to go really dark and then just bring a little bit of color over here. And then again with my blender pen, I'll do the same thing. I'm going to hit that dark area and bring that color across. So you'll get an image that it goes light to dark there. And then in these other areas where you don't need a lot of color, you just color lightly with your watercolor pencil and then just hit it with your blender pen to smooth that out. So you can also use the watercolor pencils with a water painter, but I find it's a little bit harder to control the water. And that's why I really love using this blender pen with the pencils. Okay, so for the leaves, I wanted to get kind of a two-tone leaf. So what I did was I started right in the middle with crushed curry. Kind of dark. And then I added some Cajun craze on the edges, just lightly. You can even add in some brown. This is some early espresso, maybe toward the edges of the leaves. And then again, you're just going to blend this all together. So I'm going to go from the middle where the crushed curry is and bring that into the Cajun craze and then into the brown. So you just kind of get this blended image with a number of different shades in it. And I think they look more like a natural leaf with the watercolor pencils than they do with the Stampin' Blend markers. Okay. All right, so I'm not going to color the whole entire thing. I've already done one. It's here somewhere. Here it is. Okay, here's the one that I did earlier. I did this one in the crushed curry on this one. But so here's the one that I finished, and that's the one that we're going to put on our card here with some dimensionals. Pop that up and give it a little bit of life. Okay. I think like that. Okay. And then I thought we would give it a little bit more excitement and get some twine on there. So I've got this gold twine that would go with the gold in the background. I've got some espresso, and I think this might actually be Cajun craze. I don't know. You guys decide about that. Tell me which one you like, espresso gold or Cajun craze for the twine. And meantime, let's put some pearls on. These are Pearls of Beauty. They've got crumb cake, calypso coral, and white. So the calypso coral is a little too corally, I think, but I thought that the crumb cake would work really well with this, kind of with the basic beige. So let's get some of those on there. I love the pearliness of these. So pretty. Okay. All right, any decisions? No decisions. All right, I have to make my own decisions. Let's see. Well, let's do gold. Why not? Let's make it fancy. All right, so we're going to tie a little bow here. Oh my goodness. This is tricky twine to work with. It's a little stiffer than regular twine. There we go. And we'll just snip that off. And we'll get a little glue dot. Oh, Cajun craze and gold, tie them together. All right, one moment. Let's start again. See what we like. See if we like it together. Now the challenge will be, can I tie them both together? Because I've already cut the one. Let's see. Let's see, Courtney. Oh, there we go. Oh, that looks pretty. That is pretty fancy. Look at that. That gives it some little sparkle. Okay. Oh, I was getting a glue dot. Let us get a glue dot. Thanks for that suggestion, Courtney. That came out really pretty. All right, I'm going to put it right here because, hey, those acorns need a bow. They're fancy acorns. What do you think? Very cute. Nice suggestion there, Courtney. Thanks. All right, so that's that one. And here's the one I showed as a sample. Let me show you the other ones that I made. I couldn't stop making this card because it's so easy and you can just do it for any occasion. So here's one I did for a birthday. This is made with the, what is the name of the paper? I had my list. Wildflower Birthday, I believe that is the name of this paper. And this is actually from the pack that was scrapbook kit. And so it had these large ephemera pieces to go with it. So this one is 2 pieces of paper from that with one of these cutouts. Super cute. Then I did this one. This is with the peaceful greenery, I think, paper. And then this is a set that I just love called Peaceful Days. Oh, Peaceful Garden paper. This is a Peaceful Days is the name of the stamp set that I got. And this actually coordinated with another scrapbook kit, but I just loved this bird and I had to have it. So this actually turned out to be perfect, a perfect size sentiment for the front of this card. So there's this one. And then I, of course, had to do another birthday card. This one is made with the Autumn Twile paper. This is the back side of a couple of those pieces. And this really cute little image is from Sweet Jar. This is the little jar with a bunch of candles in there. And then the sentiment comes from one of my favorite ones from this catalog called Not 29 Anymore. So I used the So Many Candles And then I put happy birthday inside there. Thought that would be a nice masculine card as well. And then the last one, of course, I had to do a Christmas card. So this is the North Pole delivery paper, and I combined it with the Jolly delivery set for the little sentiment here. And then I just used, again, some cutouts from that pack of paper to create this. And then, okay, this was a boo-boo. Oh, I forgot to show you how the insert goes in. Good Lord, I always get ahead of myself. So this was a boo-boo. So I put my insert on the wrong side. So then I thought, well, what am I going to do? I'm going to put another one here. I'll have to decorate this one. So that's what I did. So that was a happy accident because that came out really cute, I think. All right, so let's go back to the card and finish the card, Michelle. All right, here we go. All right, so here, the insert. Goodness gracious. You've got this little piece that's going to go inside. And let me show you how I did that. It's very easy, but don't do what I did. Don't glue it to the wrong side. All right, we're going to put some glue on here. And when I show you what I do, then you'll understand why I glued it to the wrong side. So now I'm going to lay this down with the glue facing up. And we're going to put it right here. Center it. And then we're going to close, center it. Then we're going to just close the card on top of it. Gently. There we go. And then our panel is going to be right in the right place. So yes, that's how I did it in the wrong. I put it down with the glue on that side. Oops. Okay, so just remember to do it glue up. So here you go. You've got your little card and then you've got your sentiment in the middle there. Okay, that's it for me really tonight. I think I've remembered everything now. It was one of those nights. Okay. All right, that's it for me. Let's see if we can turn this around here. Nope, I cannot. There we go. There we go. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. All right, so I think I told everybody last week, Facebook is only holding on to videos for 30 days. So if you want to go back and watch this video again, please tune into YouTube. This Must Be Ink channel on YouTube. And then for the directions, I do a PDF every time I do a card, and it will be on my blog. You can find that on thismustbeink.com on my website, or you can subscribe to my email and you will get this PDF in an email next week. Okay, so that's it for me tonight, you guys. Have a great weekend. I heard it's getting a little chilly here. We're actually getting fall now. We were in like this Indian summer period for a while, but now we're getting back into fall weather. So go out, enjoy the outside, and enjoy the beautiful leaves, and have a wonderful weekend. Thank you guys for watching. Stay crafty, my friends.